Hello everyone, Alec Alger the SideQuest Gamer here, and today I'm going to take a look at one of the most beloved Sega Dreamcast games, well, the PC version of that because it was re-released in HD, and it's one of the most beloved Sega games of all time, even to this day, and I can see why. Jet Set Radio, one of the most insane acid trips for video games, offering the at the time innovative cel-shaded graphics and some pretty solid gameplay in terms of being based entirely on roller skating. But if there was a game that's so 90s, it's definitely this game. You got your rap music, your vinyl scratch dominant mixtape soundtracks, some occasional rock music, and all the characters you play as are all cool and hip and with the times. Well, during the 90s. But they're so 90s. At least what Japan thinks of 90s Western society, and yet it takes place in Tokyo. This game is pretty strange, but I'm perfectly fine with that. After all, this is a Sega game, and a lot of them are pretty strange in concept, but at least this game is not to the level of Space Channel 5 strange. We'll get to that at some point, but anyways, Jet Set Radio, known originally in North America as Jet Grind Radio, was developed by the Sega-owned studio known as Smilebit, and of course published by Sega themselves in 2000. And as I've previously mentioned, this is one of the very first video games to use the cel-shaded aesthetics, with thick lines and vibrant colors. And since this game is centered around graffiti, the cel-shaded character models and landscapes do look like graffiti themselves, as if the entire game was spray painted on a cement wall. And while the character models look rather dated if you look closely, and the facial animations look weird for today's standards, the graphics do hold up a lot better than most games released around the same time. The story of the game is simple, yet gets more complicated as the game progresses, but not so much in a serious tone, as the game doesn't really take itself seriously. Basically, it's kind of told by the DJ of a pirate radio station that broadcasts to all the rollerblading gangs in Tokyo. A rollerblader named Beat forms a new gang called the GGs along with fellow skaters Gum and Tag. They're later joined by others, most notably Cube and Combo. And basically, your gang competes with other gangs, spray painting graffiti all over Tokyo, meanwhile being hunted down by the authorities, who are overzealous, mind you, and a criminal organization known as Rokaku. Seriously, these people fire their guns and missiles at these kids all just for spraying graffiti all over the city. I mean, I know vandalism is highly inconvenient for cleaning crews and all, but jeez, you don't have to kill someone over it. The missions you do to progress through the story involve you spray painting graffiti at the designated locations marked by red arrows, whether it be walls, floors, or even rival gang members when allowed to do so. You have to do this all under a certain time limit. You fail the level by either dying or running out of time, and as you progress, people will want to join your gang, but will first challenge you to mimic an aerodynamic trick they just performed, or even race them to the finish. Once you do what they want, they'll later join you and you'll have a new character to play as. And each character is unique in their own right, as they each vary in stats. Some characters have better techniques, some have better graffiti, and some have better power stats. And depending on the difficulty of the mission, you best choose wisely. An enemy-infested area would best have a powerful character that can take the most damage, while an obstacle-heavy level would best have a high-technique character. And trust me, these enemies get harder as the game progresses, as you can't kill them or even defeat them, with the exception of being able to take down helicopters by spray painting their windshields, so you best choose the right character for the job. As for how the game controls, they're good, although if you're playing this game on PC like I am, you best use an Xbox controller or a third-party gamepad, as the keyboard is not ideal for a game like this. If not an Xbox controller, at least have a gamepad with a joystick, as the SNES USB controller's D-pad really hurt my thumb, and I take full responsibility for that. But the game controls well, even with the lesser options. Sometimes I find myself overshooting jumps and missing the rails I want to land on, but that's probably my fault due to my clumsiness. As for a game involving roller skating, mastery of the controls is to be expected from the player. I will say, the camera sometimes can get trapped in the level geometry, but that's on very rare occasions, like when I'm stuck between two very close objects. And as for the most defining feature other than the cel-shaded graphics is the music, of course. Depending on your subjective taste in music, they'll either make or break the game for you. I am not a fan of rap music, to be honest, but it's not as bad as some of the J-pop songs that play, which I always found annoying in this game. And because the songs loop over and over and over, I tend to get sick of these because I can only listen to rap songs and J-pop before I just get sick of it and mute the computer. But they do make the levels more engaging to play through, especially with a lot of the fast-paced songs that play in some of the levels. It also gives a sense of setting, like you know it's reminiscent of the 90s culture. And I know this game was published in 2000, but this game was developed with the 90s culture in mind. So overall, Jet Set Radio is great. I won't say it's perfect, but good enough to warrant a 93 out of 100. It is by far my favorite Dreamcast game so far, and I do hope that Sega ports Jet Set Radio Future, the Xbox exclusive sequel, which I heard is a million times better, to the PC like they did for this game, and upscale it in HD. That would be nice. If you haven't played the HD re-release for the PC and other systems, go do that right now. It's definitely worth your time and money. It looks great in HD. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to stay awesome.